Right away, the music here sets the tone. It's simplistic but upbeat, and it really feels like adventure, but it's always a good idea to check the options menu before loading into the game, just to see if there's anything that I do want to tweak around. Oh! Sliders. Sliders are nice, I guess. Don't know what that checkbox does, but at least I have the option between England and France. Not enough games give you that option. And why does this man look so unhappy with me? I did go ahead and make a character, though, starting my epic adventure under the name of Alan. I just kinda suck at fantasy names. The game here really threw me for a loop. Everything in the menu, however little there was there, was setting me up for a standard RPG fantasy experience, and the starting screen of the game was no different. Darkened brown and green graphics, oppressive lighting effects, and the fact that I was a lowly farmhand about to set out on an unknown quest. This game seemed to be a serious standard RPG adventure fare. Then I entered the first house of the game, and was greeted with this beautiful line of text. A rabbit? My wife. I mean, a dozen other games have pulled the dead relative as motivation for Quester card, but I don't know that I've ever seen a rabbit in a nightie thrown into the mix. Honestly, I really don't want to see a rabbit in a nightie. Thankfully, the graphical fidelity of this game is fairly low. This seriously threw me off, and the game keeps tossing wonderful little moments at you like this. Item descriptions are almost always funny. NPCs' reactions to things are just so off. Everything is bizarre. But what makes moments great like these is the fact that they aren't a constant. Some NPCs are at least somewhat reasonable. Some quests are sane, and the artistic design is honestly both really well done and really serious. Aside from a few joke items, such as a beheaded chicken's head for a hat cosmetic, the items themselves and the people all look like standard fantasy fare, albeit pixelated, until you go up to them and they start talking about their beloved shovel. But a game needs more than humor to be able to get by, and taking a look at the mechanics of the game itself, does it really stand up to scrutiny? Well, I'd have to say, The combat is simplistic, and from what I can tell, spending your skill points on anything besides strength and health gives comparatively low rewards. The magic and ranged combat systems could really use some tweaking, and any game where I have to click so much to defeat one of the bosses that I end up with a sore wrist has some problems. But those problems are not so glaring that I can't overlook them in favor of not only the humor, but also some of the designs of the other boss fights and mini-boss fights. The battle in the bottom of the crypt is inventive and original, and I won't spoil anything, but the puzzle at the Wizard's Tower is relatively simple, but still fun to solve. And the sense of discovery and breakthrough on finding a new location or figuring out how to crack past an obstacle is definitely there. The game is fairly short as well. Has some issues with repetitive combat, and takes a bit of figuring out to get into. Oftentimes the menus and controls seemed a bit obscure, and once you leave your farmhouse it just throws you right into the thick of it. I cannot tell you how many times I died to this one guy in the forest right outside the starting area. Just right outside! It killed me in 2 hits. The first 30 minutes of the game are difficult to get through, and I can understand people who might switch off to it. But for the low price of admission of $5, and the sparkling wit, sometimes made all the more funny by awkward translation, I'd have to say this game is certainly worth picking up. If you've got an afternoon or two and $5 to spare, be sure to go check out Song of the Myrne, What Lies Below.